was no therapy. Because who paying them folks money? I'm just saying what black people be saying to tell them how to run their household. Hey boo hey, welcome to another car chat. When I tell you it's hotter than a devil's ass today, it says 96 degrees in my car, but I'm pretty sure it's 96 degrees, but it feels like 106. Because baby, when I tell you it's hot, whoo, so hot in here. So if you hear a lot of the, that's the AC blowing. Ain't no way I could shut it down, honey. Ain't no way. I truly appreciate a lot of y'all pulling up to the comment streets of my last car chat. I was not expecting all of the good vibes and the relatable messages. I read each and every last one of y'all paragraphs, honey. The essays. I love a good essay. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a texter anyway, so I love it when people come in them comments and have a whole damn book. Y'all didn't even realize it, but it really made me feel a little bit better. Like I felt good in knowing that I was not the only one. And that I'm not the problem. Because, baby, sometimes, I'm not even going to lie, I started feeling low-key that what the hell is wrong with me? Shout out to the ones who pulled up in the DMs. Shout out to the ones who said that they want to see more. They're here for it all. Like, I appreciate y'all. That's why I fucks with y'all. Today's topic is going to be about therapy. Therapy in the black community, child. Ooh. Saying therapy in a black household, honey, is almost like saying a damn cuss word. It's almost like being disrespectful, okay? It's almost like, and I'm talking about the older households, black communities, child, you know, these days. But in them older households, there was no back talk. There was no speaking up and saying how you felt. There was no sitting around listening to grown folks talk. Stay out of grown folks' mouth and business. There was no interrupting when grown folks are talking. There was whoopings. And there was no therapy. Because who paying them folks money? I'm just saying what black people be saying to tell them how to run their household. Those are the ones who definitely needed therapy, sis. High key. Those are the ones that needed therapy. So let me give you a little background of my little journey when it came to therapy. I had hit a all-time low. I'm going to say it was like kind of like around the pandemic. I feel like everybody was at their low. Everybody was lonely. Everybody was scared. Everybody was collectively going through losses, or whether if it's a family member or a job or their mind. As a collective, the entire world was going through something together. But when I tell you I was low, this is what depression looked like. I feel like I was getting dark. I was in a space of just, it was dark there, girl. It was dark. Not that dark. Let me just, because boy, somebody been done ran and told somebody, and then somebody been done called me up. Girl, not that dark. But it was a little low. It was a little low and lonely. And I just didn't know how to navigate past that. I knew what I needed to do. I read the books. I saw this, I saw that, but I didn't really know how to apply it to my life. I didn't know how to implement it into what I had going on at the current time. I stumbled across The Secret. I feel like it was on Netflix, and then I read the book. Then I got into like Law of Attraction and all of these different things. And it was like a domino effect, which led me to therapy. And I pondered upon therapy for so long. Like I kept saying that especially as y'all know, if you watch my last video, being the strong friend and not having no outlet and not being around people who really didn't give a damn about how I was doing, didn't ask how I was doing. I didn't care to share how I was doing for various reasons. It was like, well, who the hell am I going to talk to about this? Like, imagine just holding on to so much, having so much bottled up. You're going to fucking explode, man. That's why a lot of times I don't take stuff personally anymore. Therapy helped with that, because a lot of the times people are projecting things onto you and it don't got nothing to do with you, child. It's everything to do with them. They need therapy. They need to heal, but they're not there yet. There's levels to it. I searched high and low for a therapist, child. I searched high and low, child. I knew for a fact that I wanted to be a black therapist, just because I felt like we'll be more relatable. I was kind of torn in between which age category I wanted my therapist, because on one side I was like, I wanted around my age group because then we can relate to things, okay? And then I kind of wanted somebody older, which is normally who I gravitate more towards, the older crowd, because I just feel like they're more wiser. So I kind of searched high and low, and I stumbled upon one lady, and Lord Jesus, it was going initially. I'm trying to remember. It was a website for black therapists. If I remember the website, I'll put it down below. But I remember reaching out, and we did like a consultation. I think the issue with us was that she wasn't a full-time therapist. She did have a full-time job and was doing therapy on the side. That's not going to work for me. I need all your attention, okay? I found myself kind of like working around their schedule when I feel like it should be the opposite, especially to make me more comfortable with wanting to do this, because, again, this is foreign. I'm doing something. I'm literally stepping outside of what my upbringing would ever do. You get what I'm saying? So I have to be comfortable in the midst of doing that. And I kind of like bend. Things that I said that it was a deal breaker, like I wanted to be in session. I wanted to be laying on the people's couch. I wanted to be like the movies. I want to be like those girls in the movies. To have a man so in love to make him drop to his knees. I wanted it to have the same setup as I seen on Lifetime Movie Network, child. At the time, a lot of people wasn't doing in-person sessions because COVID just rung out. It was more, when I started, it was more or less kind of like getting back to normal. But a lot of people wasn't offering in, so I had to kind of deal with that. And we did a lot of, she was pretty, I'm not going to act like she wasn't nice. But man, it was hard because the professionalism that I typically know that black people, unfortunately, give off, that's what it was given. And I just was like, no, see, I can't deal with this. I can't. It was the late show ups or the no contacts, or we just wasn't on one accord. And I was trying to take this thing seriously, and if I wanted to literally be serious about it, I knew that I would have had to find a different therapist. So then I stumbled upon the app of BetterHelp. I signed up for that, and I'll make sure I link that down below as well if you're thinking about therapy and want to give it a shot. But BetterHelp helped me get to where I am. The therapist. Find my therapist. Okay. But it took some trial and error. I went through 3 therapists. I think the third was a charm. What they say, third time is a charm. That's when I found the one for me. The first one wanted to talk. She needed therapy, honey, and thought I was her therapist. We would get on the damn phone, and she would talk about me. And then it would be one of those situations where she was cutting me off and was like, yeah, I understand. Mind you, now, when you sign up for BetterHelp, they ask you questions. They ask you about your income. They ask you about your race. They ask you about your age. They ask you about what type of therapist you're looking for, the race, the age group, the background, like if you wanted to be religion, if you wanted to be spiritual, if you wanted to be not, LGBTQ, all type of different things. This is like a whole checklist going on. And I specifically said that I wanted an African-American therapist. Girl, why the hell they hit me up with a lady from Cuba? Now, shout out to the Cubans. I have nothing against them. But if I said that I wanted a black therapist, how the hell did I get? And at one point I was thinking like, well, maybe there's not a lot of black therapists on the website, because they literally link you with a person. Like, you fill out a form and you talk about what you want to talk about and why you chose therapy, and they pretty much supposed to match you. It's almost like a dating website, child, with the right person that's for you. And for whatever reason, they matched me with the Cuban lady. And honey, like what I said, she was nice. But she wasn't a therapist for me. Because I'm not going to use up my session to talk about you. No, ma'am. I don't mind you relating stuff back to you. But we're not going to talk about you and your cat for damn near majority of the session. And then now it's almost time for me to go, no, ma'am. So anyway, I ended up not... I let that go. I let that go. So I went back on the app and I let them know that I wasn't a good match for me. Can you match me with somebody else? Now this time, no, I did not say, can you match me with somebody else? I went to look at myself and I came across a whole list of black people. If y'all see me looking the fuck around, it's because I'm out the door, honey. I gotta check my surroundings. Okay. I always check your surroundings. Be on your P's and Q's, honey. I selected this lady. She was an older lady. She was black. She had a lot of history. That was another thing that I went looking for. She had a lot of years experience. So I said, okay, let me fly with her. And she was nice. Like, I liked her. Until it got to the point of, like, some of the topics that we talked about. Her responses and her way of how she felt I should maneuver didn't resonate with my soul. And I don't want to get all too deep, but we'll crack the dough just a little bit. We'll just a little, you know the noise when you crack the dough, just a little tiny bit, child. She would literally tell me to like kind of self-blame, or not necessarily self-blame. Maybe that's not the right word to use. I understood the logic behind it, but it wasn't me. If I'm coming to you and we're about to have a conversation, right? About some type of situation on how you made me feel or whatever, falling out or whatever the matter is, right? I want to be truthful. I want to be honest. She did say that it's not good to point fingers because it causes people to shut down, which I understand. Nobody wants to be the blame of a situation. Nobody wants to take accountability. But that's the reason why the hell we ain't no damn friend, or I'm not dealing with y'all, because you don't want to take accountability. Like, we got to hold these people accountable, right? That's how I was feeling. Like, I'm not saying I'm going in a blaming match, but I do want to say that this is when you did XYZ, that made me feel like ZYX. I don't want to say it was me. Forgive me because it was me. And when I kind of separated myself from situations and things like that, she literally was saying, well, when you go and have those talks, just kind of put it on you. You felt uncomfortable. Or when I say I felt uncomfortable. It was me. I was working on me, and I am the reason why I didn't blah, 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 blah. No, ma'am, it's not me. It was you. You the one who... And I said, you know what, Kira, see, that's the reason why you in therapy right now. Maybe you do need to try a different approach. So some of the things that she said, I took it. But some of them, I dropped it off. Some of them, I dropped it off. I ain't gonna lie. I was not about to go and sit down with nobody and sit there and be like, yeah, it was because of me. Why? No, ma'am. And y'all tell me if I'm wrong. Like, I understood where she was coming from with people shutting down and nobody wanting to, but that's the problem, though. You get what I'm saying? Like, toxicity at its best. A lot of times people are so toxic because they have the people around them that's keeping it going. Nobody's calling them out on it. You get what I'm saying? What people are doing instead is saying, oh, y'all know how she is. Y'all know that girl, that's how she is. Oh, you know, because she's such and such sign. You know, that's how them signs is. That's how they is. Oh, you know, because she, you know, what she went through before last year or whatever. Because she going through so much. That's what it is. And they're letting these people continue to be in their toxic behavior and not standing on business or not calling them out on it. And that's what you want me to do? Like, that's, no, ma'am. And that's why toxic people enjoy being around people that allows their behavior, because they will never want anybody to call them out on anything. It will be a problem if you decide to call them out on anything. And again, I understood some of what she was saying and why. All of it, no. I hope y'all feeling what I'm saying. And if y'all ain't, hey. But I still got some growing to do. Okay, I'm not all the way there yet, so blame it on that. But so long story short, I got rid of her ass. Girl gave her the boot. And I came across one other young lady, and that is who I've been rocking with. I'm gonna say, is it over? I know it's over a year. The young lady who I ended up sticking out with, she really opened up my eyes to a lot of the things, y'all. She really helped me see some things, okay? Even calling me out on things, like even down to the point of where she was saying, and I remember someone saying this in the comments about sometimes you have a friend for certain things. Like everybody is not perfect. You're not going to find everything in one person sometimes. Sometimes you have a friend for going out. Sometimes you have a friend for traveling. Sometimes you have a friend. And someone said that in the comment section. So shout out to you, because my therapist actually said that. Your response gave therapist. You ain't my therapist, is it? I was just like, you're right. I can't expect. And then she would hold me accountable. Like, well, wait a minute now. You can't go in it with this, and you ain't this. Okay, she was calling me out on my And then she told me how I can go about opening these relationships back up if I wanted to. How should I present myself? What should I say? And it was never, don't share how they made you feel like the other lady was. It was, you definitely can. Just, it's ways to do it. So much insight on my marriage, so much insight on family trauma, so much insight on friendship, so much insight on just my own life. Because when we first started, she asked me questions about what made me start. How do I feel? Let me stop. Not the how do I feel. Because that's a typical damn therapy question. No, it wasn't how do I feel. But it was questions asked to kind of like, see where I start. And then for months from now, where I would end. To the point that I don't even have therapy as often as I did before. Because a lot of the things that I initially came into therapy with, I'm actually overcoming. Obstacle by obstacle. So shout out to her. I know some people don't do therapy because they don't, the expenses. It can be pricey, I'm not gonna lie. If you don't have insurance, it can be a pretty higher fee out of pocket. She actually referred me to another site where there's a little bit more affordable, a little more affordability, because I am interested in doing therapy for marriage as well. Not because me and my husband are having issues, which what marriage don't, but because I feel like we could use that person who's not going to take sides. You understand? And help us with communication skills, baby, because what's a relationship without communication skills, right? Anyway, she guided me to that website, so it's a little bit more affordable than what the BetterHelp website is. But BetterHelp does offer, if you're lower in income, where you can be able to get a discount and so forth. So you definitely want to check that website out. For the most part, on BetterHelp, you can always communicate with her. You could journal. She would drop like little things that she wanted me to read. If ever I wanted something or needed something, I would send a voice note in the quickness, or I would send like an essay, child. And when she got around to it, she would respond and give me her feedback. Like some nights I would randomly get up and be like, you know what, this pissed me off. You know what, these goddamn this family of mine don't even appreciate me, child. Let me tell you what happened. It almost became like a friendship type of thing. And she actually related things to her own life to let me know that she ain't have it all together. And hell, she had a therapist. My therapist got a therapist, and my therapist got a therapist, and it just keeps going because we're all out here trying to heal and do better. So I'm saying all this to say, if you are having trouble with anything, hell, and you need some type of guidance, honey, in the physical realm, because I know spiritually guidance, we get it from the Lord, okay? But if you need it in the physical realm, I feel like there's nothing wrong with getting therapy, seeking therapy. Do not allow your family to, hell, don't even tell them. Initially, when I first started, I didn't even mention therapy to nobody because I already knew that the looks that I would get, the bombastic side eyes and the whole question of why you need that and what's that for and who that's for and why and what and when and all these questions that I didn't want to answer because I don't want to. I'm grown. Maybe don't. If you're thinking about it, this is your sign to do it, and don't go and ask anybody what you think about doing therapy. It's what you think. What do you think? What do you think? If you don't have an outlet, honey, because we all need it, go to somebody who's not going to judge you, because that is their job, to not judge you and navigate you through healing mechanisms that could help you become a better version of yourself and heal so that you don't have to be one of these angry, bitter people that's out here amongst us in this world. I hate that therapy is not offered for free. I really feel like that's something that should be amongst every community for the free. These profit organizations and nonprofits and all this money the government have anyway, they need to throw it on over there in the bank somewhere for people to be able to go to therapy, because I feel like half of the things that's going on in this world will slim down. I ain't saying that it will stop, but it will slim down some, because they will have a space where they can go and let out all that anger. They'll have an outlet. They won't be judged for it, and they won't be shamed. My experience with therapy, it was up and down. I'm not gonna lie. At some point, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" But the devil wanted me to quit and stop. When I kept going through these therapists, and I'm like, "No, this one ain't for me. This one ain't for me." Ugh. You know what I'm saying? I felt like that was the devil seeing that I was trying to do better with my life and wanted me. You know how he come in and creep through? When you start doing stuff and showing up for yourself, and when good things are coming, we all know when a blessing is on its way, who show up the most? Come in with all the temptation, come in with all the trials, just when you just want to, just make you want to just throw the towel in, make you just second guess your faith and all type of things. But honey, he wasn't gonna do it, because I needed that for me. Mental health is important. We do not talk about it enough, not just in the Black community, in every community, but Black specifically, because I know, being a Black woman, that is not something that people praise. Instead, it's frowned upon. Family members get in the circle and start, "Girl, what the hell wrong with her talking about she going to therapy, child? You heard her? Yeah, wasting up her damn money." They need therapy because it's people like y'all with all the gossips. And I also feel like, as a collective, people be so busy on worrying about, especially with family, child, worry about what the next person gonna think, what they gonna say. I'm not gonna lie though, one thing that I was afraid of with therapy is outgrowing people. I felt like as I elevated, because that's what's gonna happen. As you elevate, you're not gonna want to be in the same room with these people. And if you need to be, you're gonna get the skills to be able to handle them. With a long handle spoon though, you're not going to be able to sit around those same energies, that negativity. You're just not, because if you do, it's wasting time. And that's one of the reasons why I was still skeptical about therapy, because I knew that I needed it, but in the same breath, I really wasn't ready to make the changes that I needed to change. She would call me and say, "Well, did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do this? Well, how the hell do you want to see be different?" And I'm glad she was talking to me like that, like a friend. It was literally like a friend. How you want to see different, friend, when you still, let's do better. Because if you know better, you do better. So you know better now. I'm telling you, you know better. So let's do better. And that was the thing. Like, I don't know, y'all. Now, when I hear friends, family, and things like that talk about their problems, a lot of the times, don't dump that shit on me. Don't trauma dump. I don't, Before, I used to be voluntarily like, "Okay, well, what's going on? What happened?" Now, honey, if you don't say it, I ain't asking. Because at the end of the day, I don't want that energy on me, no way. So the first thing I referenced to is, "Girl, why don't you consider therapy?" And I'll never forget, one of the responses was, "Well, I'm not going to let no white folks tell me how to run my household." Oh, okay. Well, you still got some growing up to do, so I'm going to just leave that there. What I'm not here to do is influence you to do anything, or forcing you. I'll say that. I can influence you, but I'm not going to force you. You got to be ready. You got to be ready. So give grace to those ones who ain't got them all yet, who's not there. I ain't going to say got them all. That might have been the wrong thing to say, huh? But the ones who are not there yet, They're still in that mindset of the family. They're still in the mindset of the black community. Not everybody, because a lot of the black people are woke now, child. When I be scrolling through TikTok, I be so proud to see how far we done came. But there's so much more to go. And that's ignorance to me. That was ignorant for her to even say that. And I was just like, okay, ma'am, you have a good day. God bless you. Because what I'm not going to do is go back and forth with somebody with the ignorance, honey. Because then you definitely ain't going to win. I ain't going to lie, though. I be up for a good debate. But sometimes I'm just like, yeah, not today. I ain't with that. Okay, well, you won, sis. You won. Because you don't even got to get a white person to be your therapist. So why you talking about the white person running your household? Shallow-minded at its best, but again, they're not ready yet. And like I said, when I got into the whole therapy thing, I was scared because I'm like, okay, I'm going to therapy, I'm doing this thing, and I know even my husband, not saying that he was against it, but he kind of was brought in the household as well as mine, where that's not what we do. So he was just like, oh, okay, it was like, oh, wow, okay, that type of thing. So I started feeling like, well, what if I elevate so much so that I don't want to keep doing this? Or what if I elevate so much so that I don't want to, and then I really end up lonely, like I was scared. That was the most frightening thing I would say if anybody asked me about going into therapy. But now it's just like, what if you imagine just staying in that space for forever? I spoke on this in the car chat last time on friendships. I'm not the same person I was at 19. So imagine if I stayed there in that space. Like, where's the growth? Who wants to just sit and stay? So at this point, it's like, I gotta want better for me. I can't worry about the outcome. If anything, I'm going in it to have a better outcome. And if the outcome comes to that, then I have to deal with that at that point in time. But I'm not gonna stop or prevent myself. It's almost like second guessing yourself. No, not second guessing. What is it? You know how when you count yourself out right away? A lot of the times we don't do things. You don't start that new job because you count yourself out. You feel like you're not deserving or you're not going to get it. You don't start that YouTube channel because you feel like ain't nobody going to watch. So you don't even start. You don't start that new business because you feel like ain't nobody going to buy from you, child. So you don't even start. We always count our own stuff out. We be our biggest critics. And a lot of the times we get in our own way. I had to move the hell out the way because some had to give, or I would have ran myself crazy. My family would have drove me crazy. My friends would have drove me crazy. I would have just been around here with not many of my marbles left because I was scared to elevate and grow. That's a part of damn life. I want to know, are you in therapy? How is that going for you? Are you one of those ones that want to do therapy but scared about what people come? Don't be afraid. Girl, you know I'm the last person to judge. It's a safe place down these comment streets. I'm going to just let you know. And if I see anybody not behaving accordingly, I'm going to stand on business and they got to go. It's going to give, what's the man from the Apollo? Yeah. I'm going to give him the boot. This video is literally, I'm hoping, your sign to book that therapy appointment. And if it doesn't go as planned, at least you could say I did it, instead of saying I want to try it but I don't know if I should. I want to do it but I don't know if I should. How the hell would you know if you don't try? And start off with BetterHelp. Like I said, it was a pretty successful site. Had I not joined, I would have never went through what I went through and found what was best for me. And they even had where you could do like group sessions. So like, they would have sessions on, girl, everything. But it would be by Zoom. And I think it's based on membership, if I'm not mistaken. I do believe that that's the case as well. But I did have that option. And I'm just glad that I stood on business around and found out that therapy is not as bad as people are making it seem to be. And I'm just glad that I'm not gonna be one of them statistics that feel like, oh no, ain't nobody finna go tell me what to do and whatever. Like, you don't have to take everything that therapist is telling you, you know, to the heart. You pick up what resonates for you and you leave what don't. That's it. It's way better than dumping that off on the strong friend, dumping that off on the family who gonna go and talk about you when you not around, dumping that on your husband because baby he done had a long day at work as well, dumping that off on the church people them, child, because you know you probably embarrassed to even tell the church people them sometimes. They be the ones talking too. We ain't gonna get there. We ain't even gonna talk about that. Like, it's just better to have this safe space. Because even if them therapists do run and tell whoever they tell, child, because I'm sure they tell somebody, it ain't gonna be nobody that know you. Allow that person, because they getting paid to be that, Dr. Phyllis. So dump that off on them. Let them handle that. And stop trying to get free therapy from your friends and stuff. Because, hell, we dealing with our own self. Even if we don't say it, we're dealing with it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment streets. If there's another topic that you guys want me to discuss, drop it down below. But, yeah, girl, let me go. Because I'm wasting gas, girl. Why my thing say low fuel? Why my thing say low fuel? Because I done sat out here and ran all the gas out, child. But consider therapy. Because if nobody else supports your decision on going to therapy, I do. Now I'm going to call y'all back.